Speed dating in 2025. This is something that is rare / getting outdated, I feel like, because dating apps are a big thing nowadays. And my generation, especially Gen Z, we just struggle with being social. But that's okay, because now if you are someone that is in Gen Z who is able to have a conversation well and hold it and make people laugh and truly know how to listen, now you're just set apart, and it's easier to spot those kind of people out. So how did I get to this point? Well, I live in Ohio, and I live in a town called Toledo. Well, that's the city. The city is Toledo. And it's not small, but it's not massive either. So I'm like, there's got to be some kind of speed dating thing. So I was searching around and I found this place, and they primarily focused on groups in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. And then they occasionally had 50s plus and then 20s. But whenever they had 20s, they grouped it with the 30s. So simply said, whenever they had their next dating event for my age group, being in my 20s, I was going to be in the same group of people that were in their 30s, which is scary for some of you watching. You're like, absolutely not. I would never do that. And I get that. So considering this, well, I've always seen it in the movies as something that would be fun, cool, different, and I just want to be a part of that. Of course, that just sounds great. And so the most popular movie that I know that would show this is the movie Hitch, with Will Smith, Kevin James, where Will Smith went on a speed dating thing. And it was at like this place, and they were interacting, and every few minutes the guys would switch a spot and have a different date for a set amount of times. I just thought that was hilarious. So then it came the idea of, why don't I just look for places in Toledo that have this? Found the place, sent an email to the lady a few months ago saying, hey, if you ever have the next 20s night open, like let me know, I'd be interested in going. So I had forgotten about it until that morning when I got the email, hey, we have 16 women waiting to date you. And so then I had the choice, right? It's like, don't go because, busy and whatever else. Or I say, no, I'm going to go because I would regret not going and being able to say that I've done something like this in the future. Because who knows how long speed dating is going to be around? Maybe in a few years, there's no social interaction at all. Highly doubt that, but I'm just like, I want to be a part of this. So, and up to that night, I knew one thing. I was going to be on the younger side. So I prepared very well by dressing well. I did not wear this outfit, right? I did my hair well. A nice polo outfit, kind of a golfing outfit, because I didn't want to overdress, but you certainly didn't want to underdress. And something my dad would always tell me is, it's always better to be the best dressed, worst dressed person in the room. Because you're going to feel awkward either way, but you're going to feel disrespectful by being someone that is in like a top and shorts when you're at like a tie event. Where if you wear a tuxedo at like a top event, yeah, you can weird looks, but you're going to be okay. So fast forward to this night. Dressed well, did my hair well, and I was there early. So all those paint me in a good picture for being on the younger side, because comes with like this is for my generation, being Gen Z, not being able to socialize, having a hard time with forming apparently. But I went to this event and there were 16 slots. So the way this worked was every 6 minutes, the women would stay in their seats and the guys would transfer to another table. Have another 6-minute date, transfer to another table. Another 6-minute date, transfer to another table. And so we all were given a clipboard. Actually, crazy, I have one right here. Got a fancy one. We all have a clipboard. And so we'd write on the clipboard, like, it had everyone's name. So all the girls' names, all the guys' name, and then there's a box that said yes to another date or no to another date. And what this meant was if you said yes and the other person said yes, then you can get their email. I think that's the proof way of saying that's good. I like the process. So it's very well that could have happened where I said yes to somebody and they said no. So therefore, never contacted, never know. There's a funny story at the end, so hang on for that. So I get there and I'm there early, and guess who else is early? A bunch of the guys. So girls were there early. Don't know why that was, but that's just kind of what happened. But there was one girl that was there early, and it so happened to be that it was going to be my first date. Like the date of the 16 was the girl that was there early as well. So I'm like, great. Like this would go really great or really bad, because now I'm going to have 15 minutes. I'm 10 minutes early plus the 6 minutes that the date's going to happen. So that's 21 minutes of conversation time if we both are enjoying ourselves. And if we're not, then it's going to be 21 minutes of some awkward pandering. So what happened was I sit down and it's in what, age range you're in. So, like I'm 25 or younger. I think that's a safe bet. And it was a safe bet for me to say that she looked probably later to early 30s. She could have been 25, maybe, but she was around 28 to 32. And so, first interacted, we both knew immediately, okay, I'm younger, she's older, and it could be challenging because who is this guy? Like process could be, who is this guy? Is it a joke to him? Because a lot of people take this very seriously. And so I had to be careful. I'm like, something that people were taking their evening up to do. It's important to them. And I don't want to make, I was there for joking purposes or anything like that. I was there because I wanted to do the thing that I saw in movies. I wanted to like see how it went and experience it. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, would it be that I meet someone that I genuinely like? And I already knew, very low. But that wasn't going to take me respectful outside of the picture. Like, I was absolutely going to be respectful still and have good conversation. So how that first 15 minutes worked, we had some light conversation of like, hey, did you get here okay, great, kind of thing. And then it's typical for speed dating events to either be at a cafe, at a bar, or a diner. And the reason for that is eating or drinking just helps people relax because you have high nerves, right? People are like, oh, it's my first time here, or does he like me? Does she not like me? Like, there's questions. So having some kind of refresher there is nice. I was 21 at the time. I'm 22 now, but I didn't drink and still don't. So I was good on that. But when she came back and she got a drink and stuff and talking, and this is, by the way, a very public environment. You see all the 16 tables in front of you. And so I realized, okay, she's in the nursing field and that kind of thing. It was very respectful. And I said, yep, I'm a student finishing up college. And so that tells you kind of with my age. And so I asked her some questions about career because I get it. You don't want to hit on career questions when you're speed dating. But the point of this interaction was not for me to get her number or for me to pursue a second date. The point of this was to be respectful. So I just played the safe card and asked some question. For most of the dates I went on, not because I wanted to be lame but because I did not want to lead people on. And so like, why was I there then? Well, I know, I get it. I did have some interesting questions, and these were the two interesting ones I did ask on some of the dates. I would say if there's one food that you had to eat for the rest of your life and you could not change it, it has to be the same food every single meal, every single day for the rest of your life, what would it be? And the reason I asked this was because I had two responses. I either got someone that would say, mac and cheese, my favorite meal ever, which is like, fine, answered, right? Or there was someone that was more analytical who would say, oh, well, how many, like, is it a meal or is it just one item? And is this, can be heated up every time? Or like, what can I eat it with? Or if they're like, and I loved those, I enjoyed the people that picked apart the question and analyzed it more, like people that like to think about that stuff more. So there's a few people that did, and I enjoyed the conversation, and that went well. The second question I asked, man, I'm trying to remember here. It was not like, how was your day or the weather, but it was something else. That's not important. The important thing is I went on a speed dating event as a 21-year-old and successfully made conversation with people that were much older than me. I would wager to say that I went on a date with probably someone that was 38 or 39 years old. Saying that with a straight face is crazy, but I mean, very cordial. It was very, very well put together, the event. And yeah, said there would be a funny part to this at the end, and this is it. So of all the conversations, I had one conversation that I particularly enjoyed. It was with this girl who was about birth order. And I know like people right now are like, dude, what are you talking about? That sounds so boring. But I just read this book. I'm nerding out here. But I just read this book called The Birth Order Book. That's what it's called, by Dr. Kevin Newman. And it was just so good. Like, because you just look at people and you're trying to analyze, are they a youngest, middle, oldest? Why? How did it impact their life? What do they know about it? Like, stuff like that. It's just so cool. And so one of the last conversations I had that night was someone that read that book and loved to analyze people in that way too. And so we were just having a great conversation. And she said her brother was pursuing his MBA as well, which that's what I was going to school for months ago. I applied and I got in, and I'm still in that right now. But she said her brother was taking that, and she said that I had to get in touch with her brother. And so I said yes, so I could get her email to ask about her brother. Did I enjoy the conversation? Absolutely. She was late her 20s, and I would say different stage of life. But so I said yes to her, but I accidentally said yes to the wrong person. Instead of her, I marked someone else, and then that other person said yes. And so the next day, I get an email saying, hey, you guys are a match. I was like, okay, cool. I'll email this girl and say, hey, can I get your brother's contact so we can talk about like MBA stuff? And the lady was like, hey, I'm sorry, do you have the right person? I was like, uh-oh, right? And I realized, oops, I said yes to the wrong person. And I said, you know what? Like, I apologize. It looks like I did have the wrong person. Have a great day. Something like that. I didn't say you were wrong. I just said I accidentally did something. And so then, to even humiliate this even more, I reached back out to the event coordinator and I said, hey, I'm the wrong person on accident. I meant to say yes to this person, inserted their name. And I said, hey, if they said yes, could I have their information? She said, they did not say yes. I just could not help but like laugh to myself. So, moral of the story, go and do things that you wanted to do. If that's skydiving, or if that's just going on a walk to that trail in your local town that you've never been on a walk on, go do that. you should have some fun, especially for Gen Z generation. Go things. Now's the time. I mean, we always hear from millennials and older about you have to go do things, and it gets a bit redundant, but it's so true. Like, try something, go do something. You'll have fun. All right, see you guys in the next video. Bye.